Hey, 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 now it's time to talk about some volcanic hazards. But I promised you I'd give you the story behind how I got the nickname Mafic Man. So let's start this lecture with a funny story. All right, back in the day, before I found out that I had hip impingement and I had my actually real hips and not fake hips, and I played soccer all my life, I was kind of athletic and fast, but I coached ninth grade soccer a long time ago. So the soccer player that I had, he grew up to be a junior, and I had him in Apex, and I'm teaching about mafic and felsic lava flows, and he raised his hand, and I said, "What's up, Tyler?" And he goes, "You remind me of mafic lava." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, mafic lava." I'm like, "Explain yourself, Tyler." And he said, "Well, mafic is very high in temperature, but it makes it really fast, and you're fast, and I'm Italian on a tan well, so I was very dark at the beginning of the school year, like I had great tans. But anyway, and I used 50, just so you know. But anyway, he goes, and you're dark in color, so every time I look at you, I think of mafic lava." I'm like, all right, I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but sure, I'll take it as a compliment. So then he proceeds to say, "Well, your hairline also looks like an M," which, I did have hair, but I was born with male pattern baldness, I guess. And like this picture showing, yeah, okay, I guess I can see it. So he used that to, like, he and his little buddies would, I see him in the hallway, all the way down the hallway, and they show this M sign down the hallway and scream, "Boom," or "Bam." I'm like, "Tyler, what does that mean?" He goes, "Oh, you're Mafic Man." So Mafic Man was born. That's the story behind Mafic Man. And it became legendary that a class period that I had a while back bought a star for me and named it Mafic Man. So there is a star out there named Mafic Man. Here are the coordinates, and you could actually look it up. Now, it's probably so far away that the James Webb Space Telescope couldn't even find it, but who knows? But just so you know, the star registry is right here, and there is a star out there called Mafic Man. So now all these kids like shine me the or show me the M sign, and it's pretty funny. But anyway, so one year they're like, "Well, we need to name Scalzo." I'm like, "Okay, what do we want to name Scalzo?" And someone said, "How about Felsic Fiend?" I'm like, "All right, that's cool. What's that mean?" "Well, Felsic lava is really slow," and I'm like, "I like where this is going." So Scalzo became Felsic Fiend, and the supervillain story just evolved from there. Mavic Man versus Felsic Fiend. Volcanoes that go boom, or volcanoes that are fast paced lava flows. But anyway, that's the story behind Mavic Man. I challenge you to find all these little Mavic Man signs around the room. I don't know how many I hid, but there are a lot of them. Get a count and email me back and tell me how many you found. Anyway, so let's talk about some volcanic hazards. And here are the four major hazards that you would like to know about. Now, some of these hazards are associated with certain types of volcanoes, like this one and this one are only really truly associated with composite cone or stratovolcano because of the height and the explosiveness that comes off of those volcanoes. Like, for example, we know that the composite cone is very tall because it has such a strong base, it can support really tall heights. And because of that, the peaks are filled with snow and ice. So when a volcano erupts, hot gas comes out, it melts the snow and ice, and a lahar is just this volcanic mud flow that flows down the mountainside. It's very hazardous. And we also know that composite cones have the magma chamber containing really thick, cool lava like felsic, and that traps a lot of gas. And maybe that magma chamber can't really hold it anymore, and all of a sudden, boom goes the side of the mountain, and this huge superheated gas flow just barrels down the side of the mountain at ungodly speeds, and that's what a pyroclastic flow is. A shield volcano is not tall enough to have ice and snow at its peak, so lahars aren't usually associated with shield volcanoes. And a shield volcano is made up of mafic, which now you know is very fast paced, moving, and really thin, not gooey type of lava flow, so it doesn't trap a lot of heat in. So shield volcanoes are very broad but not very tall. So they're not very explosive. They just shoot out lava. And that lava can travel large distances before it hardens. So Lava flows are definitely hazards of mafic volcanoes, and lava flows are hazards of felsic volcanoes. Gases could be hazards of mafic volcanoes, and gases could be hazards of felsic volcanoes. But these two really are only associated with felsic volcanoes. Volcanic eruptions are put on a scale, like we talked about the Fujita scale and how tornadoes are categorized with the Fujita scale, but also hurricanes with categories. And then we'll talk about the earthquake scale, the Richter scale. But the volcano explosivity index, or the VEI, really categorizes volcanoes in terms of their explosiveness. Like a VEI of a 0 is not very explosive at all. And we got Kilauea in Hawaii because it's mafic. Mafic is fast, it's thin, it doesn't have a lot of gas, so therefore it's not going to be super explosive. So these columns up here categorize each thing: the ejecta volume, the classification, whether it's like mafic or felsic, description, how big the plume is, the frequency. So if you go down to a VEI of a 4, a volcanic eruption there, we'd have uh, Mount Pele, and these are the more substantial volcanic eruptions. A VEI of an 8 is the highest, and that's like Yellowstone or Toba. We talked about Tambora when I talked about climate change and how this was the year without the summer because it was so eruptive that it put so much ash and debris and aerosols into the atmosphere that it blocked sunlight. And that year, it was, I think it dropped by almost 5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is crazy to think about. Here's what a pyroclastic flow looks like. So we have a felsic volcano or a stratovolcano or a composite cone. The magma chamber was filled with felsic lava, which is very thick and gooey, and that traps a whole bunch of gas in there, and it keeps it in there. And once it can't hold it anymore, boom, goes the mountain. I mean, very explosive. Well, this could just send a superheated gas cloud come barreling down the mountain. This is an image of a pyroclastic flow, the result of a pyroclastic flow after Mount St. Helens blew. It's really interesting. You can see the entire forest just get wiped away, and how the trees just bent like toothpicks. You can kind of tell the direction that the pyroclastic flow was moving, and like the direction that the trees are bent over, which is a really interesting photo. A lahar is also an example of a hazard that comes from a felsic volcano because it's so tall, it tends to have ice and snow at the peaks. And when that gets heated up because of the gas, it just comes barreling down the mountain. And it could bury entire towns and kill thousands of people. So the way that scientists monitor volcanic eruptions, basically three ways. Computer generated models use laser beams and bounce laser beams off the mountain. It kind of like gives them the shape. And I don't want to say usually, but sometimes before a major eruption, you can see the mountain swell, and that might just be enough time to give out a warning. That's what happened, I believe, with Mount St. Helens. As the mountain is gurgling, gas emissions can be measured, like the amount of CO2 or SO2 being emitted. If that increases, that might be a warning sign. And then little minor earthquakes like that haven't ever been recorded before, and then all of a sudden they are, and the frequency and magnitude starts to increase, that might be a warning sign that it's about to blow. Like you record all the earthquakes around the area, you bounce laser beams off the mountain, and it generates this 3D model of the mountain. And if it changes shape, then that might be a warning sign. And then scientists will measure the gas concentration coming out of the vent. Now, predicting volcanic eruptions is not like a sure thing, and that poses a problem. We need to increase the warning time, but it's a very hard science to do. I mean, I apologize. It's a very hard thing to do. Volcanology is a very difficult science to like just come up with a warning system that's 100% bulletproof. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the story behind Mavic Man. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, or whenever you're watching this video. Bye bye.